Hi, my name is Garrett Marovich. These are the note cards that I will be using for today's video. And the speaker that I chose that did today's TED Talk is Eliezer Yudkowsky. A little bit of background on Eliezer is that he's an American AI researcher. He has written on decision theory and ethics in the past. He is a founder of a private nonprofit research organization that is based out of Berkeley, California, that is called Machine Intelligence Research Institute, or MIRI for short. The reason that I chose this TED Talk in specific is because I was specifically captivated by how Eliezer spoke on AI. In the past, and being a cybersecurity major, I normally only would hear people talk about the uses of AI and how it could be useful for many different things. And while that's true, he used a different opinion and a different viewpoint, and it seems that he was able to separate AI from its usefulness and look at how it's affecting us as a society. And I found that quite interesting. So after greeting his audience, Eliezer goes on to make a pretty straightforward claim that certain companies will create a very high intelligence AI that is much smarter than us. And it kind of shocked me that he would come out and make a claim like this, because prior to this TED Talk, I had not been familiar with his specific work. But after watching him speak and doing a little bit more research on his background, it doesn't surprise me that this is how he greeted his TED Talk. He's a very straightforward person by nature. And he goes on to mention Yudkowsky's list of lethalities, which is basically a critic that he wrote a few years prior. A brief overview of that is that it's just a call to action about what AI is doing and why we should not allow it. He goes on to make a prediction that we will have to face something smarter than us at some point, meaning an AI, and that this higher intelligence will not value anything. Eliezer notes that the risk comes in when there is eventually something that this AI will want, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. So AI is more intelligent than humans in certain aspects. It lacks emotional bounds. So while humans are limited by hunger, thirst, things like that, AI doesn't need that. All AI needs is power and a processor, which is its brain. He then says that these advanced AIs will create and devise systems that will kill us in advanced ways that we will never be able to predict or see coming. He then goes on to suggest an international coalition banning large AI training runs, and he even notes that extreme measures will be needed. Now, he goes on to specify what he means by this, but he says that he wants to use extreme measures to ensure that the plan is universally effective. The first example Eliezer lists is tracking worldwide GPU sales. He says that this is necessary because when companies or even countries are ordering mass amounts of GPUs, it is going to be a telltale sign that they're rapidly developing AI, opening new server farms. The second example that he lists is monitoring all data centers around the world to further ensure that they're not developing AI further. His last idea that he leaves us with is being willing to risk a conflict between nations. Then he is asked by the host to point two possibilities of how AI can escape the bounds of the internet and the bounds of the people who coded and created it and command real-world resources. His response to this is that you can never predict how a smarter chess program would move. So the analogy between that and playing against a smarter chess program is you'll never know what it's going to do to beat you, but it will beat you. Another analogy that he uses is that if you were to send the design for an AC back to the 11th century with all the parts, with all the instructions, with everything to do, they could build it, but they would be surprised when the cold air came out of the AC. The reason they would be surprised is because living in the 11th century, they would not be able to understand the law of nature that converts the hot air to the cold air. His reason for using this specific analogy is because he suggests that AI can do something similar. He then suggests that it can come in the form of things that we would not even expect. Things like a synthetic virus that could alter humans' perception of things. He says that the biggest risk is that this AI will grow to want to be the only intelligent life form, that it will not want to be monitored or controlled. He also points out how much energy AI uses to operate. He's asked if there's a line he would draw in how extreme these measures that he suggested would go to prevent AI. His response is simple and cryptic. He says that he doesn't know how drawing a line would be possible. He says that people fighting this would be at their own whim, and he sees it going in a revolutionary style. But he says that using violence is not a viable option in this scenario. So some questions that I wrote up that I would ask him myself were, number one, at what scale do you predict AI will grow past humans in intelligence? The reason I wanted to ask him this question specifically is because he never gives a clear answer in his talk. I think that it is important to write out a legitimate estimate and a timeline if you are suggesting that this is going to be our future. I think that an estimate is important in this scenario. My second question is, do you find similarities between the rapid development of AI and things like climate change or nuclear weapons? I wanted to ask him this question mainly just to hear his opinion, because AI has not been presented to us as a pressing issue, more as something we have to adapt and grow to use. My third and final question I wanted to ask Elazir: you seem to theorize that AI will be the end of the world as we know it. Do you see a possibility of humans surviving and being overtaken by AI or being subservient to them? I wanted to ask him this because, as he explained throughout this TED Talk, AI would be the certain demise of humans. I'm curious because us as a species have overcame every horror of the modern industrial world. What sets this apart? Thank you.